Hello friends, it's me, and today, YouTubers secret 7-Eleven. Let's check out, YouTubers need to stop building secret 7-Elevens in their room. Food theory, this is illegal. From the food theorists. Together, let's go. Let's start.
A trend has been going around the last few weeks on YouTube that has people building secret 7-Elevens in their homes.
Step into my secret 7-Eleven!
And let's face it, there are few things cooler than secret rooms in your house. Who hasn't fantasized about pressing a special sequence of keys on a piano or pulling on a book and having the whole shelf moved to the side, revealing your bat cave full of Slurpee machines, hot dogs, and all sorts of candies? It was literally my birthday wish from ages 6 to 10, after which I switched exclusively to being able to shoot a Kamehameha. But today, I've decided to appeal to the kid in me by making his wish come true. I'm gonna try to build a 7-Eleven right in my home.
Food theory.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Food Theory, your
Hello Internet, welcome to Food Theory.
one-stop shop for convenient conspiracies, theories, and everything in between. And today, I'm putting down my pans in the kitchen to build a convenience store in my house. I'm sure this will go over super well with the wife. But in case you're a little lost and don't know why I've decided to suddenly embark on this adventure, people have been constructing secret rooms in their houses and dressing them up like 7-Elevens. And they've been getting wild with where they're building these in-house convenience stores. Under their beds, behind paintings, in their pantries, you name it, they built it there. Someone even pulled a reverse Uno card and built a secret room in a 7-Eleven. All these rooms come complete with snacks, signage, fridges, even slushy machines. There's normally some arbitrary reason behind it, like, I have to hide this from my brother slash girlfriend slash roommate. The slashes are not meant to imply they're the same person, but obviously these aren't fully functioning convenience stores these people are opening up in their houses. It's just decorations and buying an inordinate amount of Snickers. But if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this right. I need to know if I can actually set up a real 7-Eleven in the comfort of my own home. No cutting.
Okay, so Santi is like, everybody's doing it. What can make it different? I'm gonna up the stake a little.
Corners here. We're doing this legit. We're talking permits. We're talking licenses. I'm gonna be a mogul, baby! For those of you who aren't aware of 7-Eleven,
Oh, come on, it was supposed to be a joke. It's a meme. Don't take it too seriously. Come on.
it is the world's largest convenience retailer. It's known for its double gulps and questionable hot foods in the US. It's not exactly the pinnacle of food quality here, but boy, does it hit a spot only it can. The name comes from it being open 24 hours a day. Wait, 7 hours a day, 11 days a week. No, 7 days a week, 11 weeks. No, that's not right either. Hold on. The name comes from a rebrand the company went through in the mid-1940s and reflected their hours of operation, from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day. The name's become less relevant over time as more and more locations started to be open 24 hours a day, but calling yourself 24/7 just feels a little basic. While we're on the subject of their name,
But to be fair, 7-Eleven is a very easy to recognize name, and also Twitch. Fun fact, if you live stream around the time of 7 p.m. to 11 p.m, that's the most number of audience member. Okay, granted, it may be like 6 p.m. to 12 or like 8 to 10. Around that, 7-Eleven is a good gauge.
logo. You ever notice how the N in the 11 is the only letter not capitalized? Yeah, you can't unsee it now. It drives me insane. And now I've probably dragged some of you down with me. If this will haunt you forever now, be sure to leave a comment down below. But this infuriating choice in the design came from the wife of the company's president in the 1960s, who thought that the all caps design was too aggressive. She thought that changing the single letter at the end to a lowercase would make it more graceful. Look, the worst part is she wasn't even wrong. It does look better. It just makes my brain scream. Now that you're all caught up, before I bust out the toolbox and get to flexing my carpentry muscles, we need to see what 7-Eleven requires for someone to become a franchisee. What would I need to set up a store in my house? And what regulations would I need to follow to become part of the 7-Eleven family? First off, are you even able to open a business from home? Considering we live in a post-pandemic world where many people do run their businesses from home, this seems like an easy answer, but the question is whether you can have a brick and mortar style business running out of your home. a place where strangers can come and go to shop. But turns out, yeah, some places may require a permit, but fortunately for us, both the cities of Los Angeles and Raleigh permit you to run a business out of your home. So that's one less thing to worry about. But let's take a look at the process for actually opening a store. 7-Eleven actually has a system for people looking to franchise, but it's pretty vague and secretive about what they would need. Short of actually doing the application and getting approved, there's no good way to find out exactly what they're looking for. The qualifications they're most public about are that you need to be a US citizen, at least 21 years old, and need to pass a comprehensive background check. One other thing they don't mind sharing is that you need $100,000 in liquid cash. And while that's a down payment on a house, it could be a lot worse. Potential McDonald's franchisees need to have $500,000 in liquid cash. Thank goodness we aren't trying to open a secret one of those. Irregardless, that vastly narrows down the amount of people that might be able to do this. I doubt parents would be shelling out $100,000 just to surprise their daughter for a total of 10 minutes before the novelty wears off. I mean, maybe. We are talking about content creators here. That said, we're gonna
Oh, true. This is YouTube.
power forward, assuming I can sell one of my kidneys on the black market. Now, there are two options when it comes to franchising. One is to apply to manage a store that's already up and running. The other is to convert an existing store you own into a 7-Eleven. This is what we're looking for. We'll use their business conversion program by fooling them into thinking my house is a business, and bam, 7-Eleven. They'll never see it coming. The first problem here is to convert an existing place, we have to have an existing place. So what do you need to set up a convenience store? First step is to get a business license. It's pretty easy and just requires submitting a form to the city in order to apply. Once approved, it's a 4 to 6 week process. Honestly, pretty painless. But considering the half-life of YouTube trends, it's about 4 weeks too long. But we will need to make sure we have the following licenses: a sales tax permit, a food handler license, and a health and safety license. A sales tax permit allows you to buy goods untaxed and then put tax on them for selling, so you don't double tax an item. You are legally allowed to buy goods from a store taxed and then sell them on again, but this way makes more sense for me, future convenience retail businessman. And as a good businessman, I need to have profits, quarterlies, margins, gross, assets. I know business terms. Moving on, you also need this in order to tax people for the foods and Slurpees you then sell them. It can vary from state to state, but for the most part, in order to do this, you have to submit an application to your state's Department of Revenue. It includes a lot of details, like your social security number, your business name, address, phone number, and the details about your business, like what it is, whether you'll be a cash business, what items you'll sell, when you plan to begin to operate, and the list goes on and gets more and more intricate. And that's just the first of the 3. Then there's the food handler license. This is all related to how the food in the place is stored. The videos of people making the secret 7-Elevens show mostly snacks, chips, and soft drinks, most of which are kept on a shelf, but some are stored in refrigerators. What does the FDA food code say about these items and how to store them? Well, none of these items are required to be refrigerated to be stored. Although people may prefer the taste of a cold drink, it's not a requirement for safety. This makes the food handling license process pretty easy. But some of these secret rooms on YouTube don't appear to have ventilation or air conditioning. The summer heat would most likely start to become a problem. Most food safety sites recommend the ideal temperature range for storing dry food to be between 50 and 59 degrees Fahrenheit. This prevents food overheating, spoiling, and swelling of canned goods. I should mention this is not room temperature, which is 59 to 86 degrees Fahrenheit. So once you take the foods out of storage, there is a ticket.
Speaking of room temperature, right? What I learned in school is in the textbook. They say the room temperature is 24 degrees Celsius. And meanwhile, because I live in Singapore and the class happens in the afternoon, I was checking the thermometer and it's like, teacher, but the thermometer says 32 degrees Celsius. Textbook says room temperature is 24 degrees Celsius. It's like, teacher just say, just follow the textbook, just follow the textbook. Yeah.
And clock on them. Without proper ventilation or air conditioning, that's a lot of spoilage. So now suddenly we need 2 rooms for our secret convenience store. The area for the customers and the area to store the food while it's not on the shelves, both of which need to have proper ventilation. The final one, the health and safety license, deals with all sorts of safety issues, like is the location of the store safe for people to be in? There's a whole list of things, and by looking at the safety guidelines, we can check a few of them off. Like we covered with the food handler license, any occupied space must have some kind of ventilation, whether it be a door, door or vents. Neither of these are present in the YouTube videos, so that's a red flag. We can't have that. And while windows are a natural way to ventilate a space, they aren't actually required in a store. Light coming in from the window can heat the goods inside and spoil them, so building them like these creators without any form of connection to the outside world is actually an advantage. That must be why they're doing them in musty corners of their house. They're just concerned about food preservation. Another major
Yeah, definitely, and definitely not, because Santi, you are thinking too much about it.
part of these guidelines is making sure you have exit routes. Ever wonder why the main door of a place isn't the emergency exit? I always have. I mean, if I walk into a place that bursts into flames, why wouldn't I just walk back out the same door? Well, emergency exits have their own rules, like the fact that they can't also function as an entrance. They also need to have an exit route that is generally separated from other areas to provide a protected way of travel to the exit. Exit routes have certain height and width requirements. They need to be continuous and unobstructed paths from any point within the store to a place of safety. So to pass this, we need to ensure that if an emergency exit is required within our secret room, we can escape unobstructed. This is another hurdle most other secret rooms fall on, with their 7-Elevens hiding behind a hatch door, a door blocked by another door, or behind a vending machine. In an emergency, this could all block your way out of the premises. Not great when there's a fire. You wouldn't be able to get most of these approved at all. But if
But it was supposed to be a secret, secret 7-Eleven.
I, like a responsible businessman, were to construct my rooms with all these things in mind, then there's nothing stopping me from acquiring the licenses. There's nothing that says this can't be in your own home, so it looks like we're in the clear for now. But even
But
with
then again, it will not be secrets anymore, bro.
all this taken care of, there are some tricky requirements. For example, they require at least 1,400 square feet of space. Considering that's bigger than my entire apartment, that'll be hard. Luckily, a certain recently retired YouTuber I know has a basement in his house that might fit the bill. You also have to have 5 to 10 years of multi-unit management experience, preferably in the convenience, retail, or food service industries. I've only been a theorist for a year, but maybe we could fudge this by using Jason as a manager, and then he can be my employee. It'll be a tough sell, but I'll be a benevolent boss. Even then, 7-Eleven requires that you do not have any other business interests that, in the opinion of 7-Eleven, might jeopardize your opportunity to successfully implement the business concept. Yeah, this is a hard no for us. I mean, all the effort that goes into making these videos for you to enjoy aside, considering the topic of our channel, 7-Eleven might not like us digging into the food we're gonna be trying to sell you. We were so close. This is why you measure twice and cut once, people. Imagine if I'd already started tearing down walls. So fine, maybe 7-Eleven itself isn't in the cards for us. But even if we ditched 7-Eleven and just decided to set up our own convenience store without them, open at 11 p.m., close at 7 a.m., and call ourselves 11-7, we would never be allowed to thanks to zoning laws. Zoning laws put parts of cities in different zones depending on their use, their land, and their future potential. Zoning laws can dictate a variety of things, like how many and what types of buildings you can construct in an area to how tall they can be. There's a ton of different zoning types, but there are two major categories that apply to our situation today: single use and mixed use. Single-use zoning geographically separates uses that are thought to be incompatible, like busy factories and quiet houses in a neighborhood. This typically creates separate commercial, residential, and industrial zones. Because of this, it's actually not legal to set up a new convenience store in a residential area, or a bunch of warehouses where retailers are. So I can't just go to Raleigh, kick in Matt's door, and set up shop in his house. There are actually stories of people in Raleigh trying to revive their great-grandparents' convenience store, but due to zoning laws, it's not legal to open a small store in what is now a residential area. Mixed-use zones are what you see in cities like New York or most metropolitan areas like Los Angeles. They're a combination of residential and commercial, where you have apartments on top of retailers, for example. There's still laws about not allowing things like a sewage plant right next to them, but it opens the door for us to build a store, right? Well, remember when I said that zoning laws dictate more than just the land? They can dictate how residential parts of a zone have to operate, meaning they can restrict business operations in a home. For example, even with the business permit we obtained earlier, zoning laws can stop you from having employees, they can restrict your hours of operation, and they can limit how much of the space you use can actually be the business, if you're even allowed at all. Considering 7-Eleven requires at least 1,400 square feet for the business, and the space requirements for safety regulations, you'd have to have a living space of at least 5,600 square feet to qualify. To put that into perspective, the average square footage for a one-bedroom apartment in the US is 750. The average house in the US is 2,300 square feet. An apartment of that size would sell in the neighborhood of $10 million. And
Okay, it's multi-millions.
Doubt anyone in that situation is looking to run a 7-Eleven out of their marble-clad home. It looks like even thinking about building one of these in my apartment is gonna land me in jail. There goes my dream of having 7-Eleven business cards with my role of host/mega mogul on them. So when it comes down to it, if you do make a secret 7-Eleven, you don't need to try and hide it from your girlfriend, your siblings, or roommates. No,
But it will no longer be secret!
you need to hide it from the government. But hey, that's just a theory. A food theory. Bon appetit. If you like that and want to see me cover more content creator stuff, make sure to click the link on the screen now to see how Mr. Beast accidentally rigged his own taste test for Feastables. And as always, friends, I'll see you next week.
Well, thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you in my next video. Remember to subscribe. Thank you so much. But hey, that's just a theory. A food theory. Bon appetit. And I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you so much. Subscribe.